Good day, all of my YouTube neighbors. This is David Richardson. Yes, this is David Richardson of the Holy Word Test on this YouTube Holy Word Test channel. Yeah, this is the Holy Word Test channel of YouTube, and you can access all of the information with regards to the Holy Word Test by just typing into YouTube search engine the Holy Word Test, and you can get all the videos. This video is in reference to the study today in terms of the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel we're told in the book of Matthew and also in the book of Mark, according to the Holy Bible. Jesus is telling us that we should get an understanding of the prophecy of Daniel. I'm of the understanding of the prophecy of Daniel after studying Daniel now for several years, and the Bible itself as a whole for several years, is that the book of Daniel holds the book that's sealed with 7 seals secret. The book of Daniel holds the book that's sealed with 7 seals secret. Now, to get an understanding of that, you got to understand that we're talking about the beginning of time, the beginning of eternity, We're talking about eternity beginning, and we're talking about the ending of time. Eternity and the ending of time. And we're also talking about Jesus Christ and the foundation. The foundations of the world. Jesus was before the foundation of the world, and Jesus will be after the foundations of the world in his kingdom through eternity. That's what we're talking about today. And the book of Daniel holds the book that's sealed with 7 seals secret. According to the book of Daniel, in chapter 12, verse 9, we're told, by the one that's standing on the river, Daniel sees the one that's standing on the river clothed in linen. In chapter 12, verse 9, he sees the one clothed in linen, and the one that's clothed in linen is standing on the river. He tells Daniel to go your way, Daniel, for the words are sealed up. Sealed till time of end. The words are closed up and sealed till time of end. So that's giving us an indication that the one that was standing on the river with his right and left hand up to heaven is telling Daniel that he's now sealed up the words, and now they will be there until time of end. So now we're talking about the Daniel holding the book sealed with 7 seals secret. In the book of Daniel, we're talking about Daniel receiving 4 kings. He's receiving a vision from God under 4 kings at different times. The 4 kings being Nebuchadnezzar, his son Belshazzar, his predecessor Belshazzar was Darius, and then King Cyrus. Those are the 4 kings that we're talking about, that Daniel received visions from God, interpretations from God, and the 4 kings received visions from God and from God's kingdom. What I mean by that is that Nebuchadnezzar received visions from God, and also Nebuchadnezzar received visions from a watcher and holy ones that came down from heaven, not only just giving him the vision, but they also, the watcher and the holy ones, gave him a decree. So we're talking about Nebuchadnezzar then receiving the information from God in visions, and through God's messengers, the watcher and the holy ones, to give Nebuchadnezzar visions as well as a decree. Daniel interpreted the visions of Nebuchadnezzar and told him about the information with regards to the tree and all of the fowls of the air and the animals are up under the tree, while the watcher and the holy one is the one that gave him that decree with regards to the stump and etc. But we want to get into that. We're just talking about the power that Daniel had to give the interpretation of the visions that God was giving to him, as well as the visions that God gave directly to Nebuchadnezzar, and also to the ones that came down from heaven to give Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, as you know, the one that the king was taken from. He went out and ate grass as it was cows in the fields, and came back and was put on the throne. That's the power of God. Then after Nebuchadnezzar died, his son took over, Belshazzar, and his son then gave a party. In the study of Daniel, and you're going to see Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Nebuchadnezzar, you'll see him in the 4 kings in chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Belshazzar, his son, took over, and you'll see that study in chapter 7, 8, and 5. 7, 8, and 5. We skipped 6 for a reason, because 7, 8, and 5 is where Daniel is giving Belshazzar the interpretation of his dream, but Belshazzar then has a party. He have a party with all of the vessels that was taken out of the house of God by his father Nebuchadnezzar. He gives a party with his wives and his concubines and his captains, and these are the vessels out of the house of God, the golden cups, etc., etc. And he gives a party, and now the handwriting comes down from God and gives Belshazzar something he just didn't understand. Only Daniel could interpret it, and Daniel interpreted it and told him what it means. And in the same night, he was slain. And then Darius takes over, and being happy to take over the kingdom. Well, who is Darius? I'm so glad you asked. Darius is the son of the king that married Esther, the king that kicked out his wife Vesti and married Esther, and that's either Esther's son or her stepson, because Esther is the wife of the king of Darius's father. And Darius now is kingdom. He's the Mede, a kingdom. By the way, Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, and his son was king in Babylon, but Darius was a Mede of the Chaldeans. But now the Mede of the Chaldeans is now the king over the captives that Daniel and all of his people are now under the auspices of the rule of Darius. And Darius' study of that Daniel story about Darius is in Daniel chapter 6, chapter 9, and chapter 11. So it skips about. That's what we're telling you with this whole study about. To understand Daniel, you got to not read it chapter 1 through 12. There are only 12 chapters. But in Darius, to understand what took place under Darius, you want to go to chapter 6, chapter 9, and chapter 11 to get the understanding of what took place under the kingdom of Darius with regard to Daniel. Then we get to the last king, which is King Cyrus, and we'll see that study in the book of Daniel in chapter 10 and chapter 12. Well, in chapter 12 is where the one that was standing on the river Hydakides to give Daniel the understanding that time is not going to end. And that's what we are referencing today at chapter 12, verse 9, where he tells Daniel that to go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till time of end. So time is going to end, and after the end of time, and you and I are the only ones that we know now that's in time, and after our time, if time is ended, there will be nothing but eternity. Time is going to end, and after the ending of time, there won't be nothing but eternity. God is both the past, the present, and the future, all at the same time, if you can understand that. He's the past, the present, and the future, all at the same time. So when you say God, you're talking about the past, the present, and the future, all at the same time, because he is the past, he's also the present, and he's also the future at the same time. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Now I want to just give you an understanding, my understanding of the seal, the book that's sealed with the 7 seals. In chapter 6, verse 1 through 2, you'll see the first seal. In chapter 6, verse 3 through 4, you'll see the second seal that was open. In chapter 6, verse 5 through chapter 6, you'll see the third seal. In chapter 6, 7 through 6, 8, you'll see the fourth seal. In chapter 5, 6, 9 through 11, you'll see the fifth seal. In chapter 6, verse 12 through chapter 7, 17, you'll see the sixth seal. And then in chapter 8, verse 1 through chapter 11, 19, you'll see the seventh seal. So you see the 7 seals take place, and unsealing of the 7 seals in the book of Revelation take place from chapter 6, verse 1, all the way through chapter 11, verse 19. So that's something that's another time. We can't cover it all today. And with the time I have, I don't have a few minutes of time. But I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just want to reiterate that this is all about Daniel, book of Daniel, that is, holding the secret of the book that's sealed with 7 seals. Or said another way is that Daniel is the book that holds the book that's sealed with 7 seals secret. I want to conclude it, and we're talking about the foundation, Jesus and the foundation, that we're talking about the beginning of eternity and the ending of time. I'm going to conclude at www.theholywordtest.com. You can access that information, or you can go to email me at theholywordtest@gmail.com, or just simply go to YouTube and type in YouTube search engine, The Holy Word Test, to access this as well as all the other videos that we've done on YouTube or on this YouTube channel. Thank you, and be blessed. I love you. Bye-bye.